What's up, UFC fans? We are coming into a nice little stretch of events that we got coming up here. We have, of course, the fight night, which I just put my prediction video up, which is on the 12th. We have UFC 72 Victory, this is my prediction video for that, on the 16th. Then we have the Ultimate Fighter 5 finale, which I'm really looking forward to. And then, of course, UFC 73 stacked on the 7th of July. So we got some. This is a good month for MMA. I am gonna have to say it. It's looking like a good month. So, all right. Well, without any further ado, UFC 72 Victory. Got some interesting fights on the card. Go through the undercard real quick. Dustin Hazlett, Stevie Lynch. Haven't seen much of either of these two guys. I haven't seen anything of Stevie. I tried to search him on some of my sources, but just couldn't find anything. Dustin Hazlett, I've seen both his fights in the UFC. I saw him lose to Tony D'Souza, and then the fight against Diego Saraiva, or whatever, however you pronounce his name, at UFC 67. I have both those fights on my computer. So I think just experience-wise, and the fact that this for Lynch, I think he kind of got this fight because he's a hometown fighter. So I'm just gonna say experience wins out. Dustin Hazlett, first round KO. Next fight is the fight between two guys that have always found a way to disappoint me. Now Scott Smith more so than Ed Herman, because I was really jacked up because that Pete Sell Scott Smith fight was so much fun to watch, and that vicious body shot that Sell had on him, and then that one punch that he had left. It was a great fight, and I was like, wow. And then they announced him fighting on the main card of UFC 67. I was like, wow, Patrick Cote, okay, get out there and bang. Let's do this. And he was all tentative and didn't really look like he wanted it, so it really disappointed me there. And then Ed Herman, it seems to me like ever since his loss to Kendall Grove, he can't shake that, because he talked about it after he lost to Jason McDonald. He talked about it after he lost to Chris Price. I mean, he talks about, oh, this is a controversial decision. You know what? Don't live in the past. As a fighter, you need to let go of those losses. You lost to him. It was not a split decision. It was a unanimous decision. So everybody thought that Kendall Grove won. I thought that Kendall Grove won. So get over it and focus on your fighting. And with that, I'm going to pick Ed Herman by rear naked choke in the first round. Scott Smith seems to be a little lost on the ground. That's just my opinion. So moving on, Eddie Sanchez, the Manic Hispanic, going up against Colin Big C Robinson. Now everybody knows Eddie Sanchez from the fight against Mirko Cro Cop. Props to him for taking that fight, because I'm sure other guys didn't want it. Nevertheless, he got a little technical knockout in the first round, but the guy is still a good fighter, so I'm gonna have to give him the edge over the hometown boy. Big C is 38 years old, and I've never really heard of him. He's pretty much fought only overseas, so I'm going to go with the Manic Hispanic to win by knockout in the second round. Next fight, Jason Tan versus Marcus Davis. Now, I really like Marcus Davis. Lost his first official fight in the UFC to Melvin Guillard by technical knockout. Came back after that to beat Forrest Petz, Shoney Carter, and Pete Spratt. Submitted Petz and Spratt, and if you beat Shoney Carter's journeyman, man. He knows how to win fights, so props to you, bro. So I'm gonna have to go with Marcus Davis in this one, just because I don't know anything about Jason Tan. Once again, he's another one of those fighters that I looked for some of his fights, but I couldn't find them. So if anybody knows where they are, let me know. I'll go check them out. All right, main card time. So yeah, Marcus Davis by technical knockout in the second round. No, submission in the second round. Clay Guida against Tyson Griffin. Now, Tyson Griffin was in an awesome fight against Frank Edgar, and I really like Tyson Griffin a lot. I think he's an aggressive fighter, and I think this fight definitely has fight of the night potential, because Clay Guida, anybody who saw his fight with Dean Thomas will know the same. He's an exciting fighter. So these two, I think they're going to get in there. I think they're going to bang. I think Clay Guida is going to look for takedowns. And I don't think Tyson Griffin's afraid of it to go on the ground, because he has a very strong ground and pound wrestling background. So I look for an exciting fight. With that being said, Tyson Griffin, second round TKO. All right, moving on. The two, Roy Singer, Jason McDonald. Now, Roy Singer in his last fight lost by submission to Yushin Okami, who was fighting in the main event. And Jason McDonald threw in the towel at the end of the second round, or before the third round, in the fight against Rich Franklin, who's fighting in the main event. You know, Jace McDonald burst onto the scene, beat Ed Herman, submitted Ed Herman, and Ed Herman's a submission guy, so to beat another submission guy, it said, wow, this guy's submissions are off the chain. Well, and then he submitted Chris Lieben. Chris Lieben didn't tap out, and they mark it on UFC as a technical knockout, but it was a submission. He choked him out. And then he got in the ring against Franklin and showed that he wasn't quite at that level yet. You know, can he get to that level? Yeah, he can. And I really like Jace McDonald. I like his mindset. I like how he fights. As for Roy Singer, I've seen a little bit of him. I gotta admit, he's not one of the fighters that I've followed too closely. Of course, I've seen all his UFC fights a couple times in the last week or so. And he's a good fighter. He's he's got good strikes. I would say he's kind of he's a well-rounded fighter, but he's definitely got holes in his game. So I know that kind of contradicts itself, but whatever. I'm gonna go with Jace McDonald by I think by submission. It's gonna take a little bit to get Roy Singer down, to wear him down, but I think that he'll submit him. So I'll say rear naked choke in the second round. All right, long-awaited return of Forrest Griffin. Now, last time we saw Forrest Griffin, Keith Jardine was playing basketball with his head in the octagon. I don't look for that to happen again. That was a devastating loss for Griffin. He was crying afterwards, and I hate all those punks out there who say, "Oh, a pussy cry, blah blah blah." No, he's not a pussy, because he gets in the ring and he bangs with people. And his only 4 losses have come to Jeremy Horn, Dan Severn, Tito Ortiz, and Keith Jardine. So he's lost to really good guys. As for Sick Dog, Hector Ramirez, he had a stand-up picked apart by James Irvin back at UFC 65. So that leads me to believe that Forrest Griffin's going to absolutely tear him a new one, because Forrest Griffin's stand-up's on a whole nother level than James Irvin's. With that thought, though, my prayers go out to James Irvin. He had a nasty torn ACL. Bad knee injury in the last pay-per-view on the undercard against Thiago Silva. Hope you come back, man, because I always enjoyed watching your fights. So my heart goes out to you, bro. Coming from someone who's had that injury before. So back to the main card. I just don't see Hector Ramirez offering anything to Forrest Griffin. I think Forrest Griffin's just going to weigh him down, and it'll end up being a TKO late in the second round, early in the third round. And on to the main event. Rich Franklin, Yushin Okami. I was pumped up when I heard that this fight was going to happen. I felt that Campman might be kind of on the Jason McDonald level, where he's not quite up to the top echelon Rich Franklin type fighter, but Yushin Okami is. Yushin Okami has only 3 losses in MMA career. He does hold a win over the current UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva, and he is a tough matchup for both Silva and Nate Marquardt, whoever wins that fight. Everything that I've ever heard about this guy, and when you watch his fights with Swick and Singer and Starnes and Belcher, every single time when those guys go over to the corner, they're like, I had no idea how strong this guy was, because he just manhandles people. But if there's one guy in the middleweight division who's just as strong, it would be Rich Franklin, because he is a beast of a man at 185. He walks around at like 205, 210 from what I've heard, and he's 8-1. So I mean, people who discounted him after his loss to Anderson Silva, he's fought some good guys. He destroyed Ken Shamrock. He beat a very good Evan Tanner. And did that twice. And back at UFC 42, Tanner was kind of in his prime there. He's beat Edwin Deweese, and Jace McDonald was a top-notch guy. And David Loizo, I don't know what's happened to him since, but I want to see the old crow back. But I just think that with Ace, he's one of the most well-rounded fighters out there. I think we're going to see the old Rich Franklin in this fight, and that's going to be key, because if we see that's just what we saw the old Rich Franklin at the end of the last fight, and the old Rich Franklin is not someone to be trifled with. So I'm going to say it goes to decision, unanimous decision, and Rich Franklin wins, gets the title shot, and will face the winner of Marquardt and Spider Silva. So, alright, well, that's my predictions, and hope you like them. Night Train, Shocker, and I'm out.